Hey, welcome back. Simon Lees here. Got another guitar tip for you this week. One or two people have asked how you can use a standard phone app tuner or a tuner which doesn't recognise every single letter in the musical alphabet in order to do different types of tuning such as E flat and that sort of thing. Now, I've already talked about drop D tuning for basic tunes, but if you want to tune all your strings to a different tune, this is one way of doing this. Now, because I'm using my phone to monitor this recording, then I've got my Boss GT10 set up with its tuner there, so you can see if I play the thin E string, you can see that is in standard tuning. B's a little bit flat. So, you know, but yeah, basically the guitar's in standard tuning. Now, if I want to change this so it's in E flat, because a lot of records, a lot of bands play in E flat, you know, so what you can do, if your tuner doesn't recognise things like sharps, flats, you know, the in-between notes, you can kind of fool your tuner into thinking that it's detecting the normal note that it would expect by playing the first fret on every string. And so I can use my first finger, well, use any finger you like really. So obviously that's a higher note than the open string, so it means that I've got to loosen the string so that it's, when I put my finger on it, it sounds the same as that, you know. So my tuner will recognise it as being the open string. So at the moment, the tuner's saying F. Now F on your tuner, you might not get a reading at all. It might just say too high, you know. So what you got to do is loosen the string. Now, if you imagine you're looking sort of straight on at the tuner. To loosen the string, you've got to tune it. You've got to turn it clockwise, as if you're looking at it from that direction. So I'm just going to turn it a set amount and then try it again. Now the display tells me that it's almost E, but it's a little bit flat. So what that means, I've just gone too far. So I've just got to come back the other way. So imagine I'm looking at it from underneath and turn it anti-clockwise from that viewpoint until the tuner tells me I'm in tune. There we go. Cool. So I'm going to do exactly the same for the B string. I'm not even going to test it because I know that normally the open string would say B. If I put my finger on it, it's going to say C. But on your tuner, if you've just got a phone app, like the free app, it's probably just going to say just too high. So you've got to loosen the string off. Again, if I imagine I'm looking from underneath, I've got to turn it clockwise. And then still with me for pressing it down. Now, on my tuner, we're in range, but it's very high. So I've got to keep going the same way. That's virtually there. I'm just going to come back up a little bit. So turn it clockwise. You might notice when you change direction, so if you've just turned it clockwise and then you've gone too far, so you turn it anti-clockwise, you turn it a bit and nothing happens straight away. It takes a while for it to sort of bite, you know, so don't be confused by that. Okay, the same on the next one. So at the moment, my tuner's saying G sharp, but again, I know I've got to loosen it. So again, from looking underneath, turn it clockwise. And I'll just giving that about a quarter of a turn at the most. The G string's very sensitive, so you've got to be careful not to go too far with that one, like I have done. So you can see there. So it is saying G, but it's gone too far down, so I've got to come back up again. So I turn that, but very little happens. So I'm going to turn it a bit more, and then hopefully it'll start to bite. That'll do me. So now we're on the top three. it's the same idea, you know. If I'm looking down, you know, if I'm looking straight on top of the machine head, I've got to turn that clockwise to loosen it. So I'm going to do that now. So I'll just give it about a quarter of a turn, see what it says on the tuner. I'm in range, but it's just saying it's very high, so I need to go maybe just slightly less than a quarter. Okay, I've gone too far, so I've got to come back up again. Keep going. So you can hear that sounded different then. I got too far. Now, to save all this guesswork and faffing around, the best way to do it is to pluck the string and make the adjustment while the string's ringing out. So that means you've got to cross your hands over, keep your finger on the string and use your plucking hand to make the adjustment. So a little bit of trial and error, but it is a best practice to use your strumming hand to make the adjustment while the string's ringing out, and then you can see the effect that it's having straight away on the tuner. That's all right. So again, the A string and the fat E string are quite sensitive as well, so you need to be quite careful how far you turn the machine head. That's not too bad. And then finally, I'm going to give that maybe an eighth of a turn. Well, that wasn't a bad guess. So back up a little bit. I mean, this sometimes by pressing on too hard on the fat E string, you can make a difference. So if I really press that now, see, it's almost off the scale. So you've got to press it down as you normally would, you know. Cool. Now, been through all the strings, so hopefully, if I play a chord that uses all the strings, and I'm thinking of maybe an open E chord, or a G chord's a good one. If I get the sound back, I'm not going to use that sound, I'm going to use that. Oh, hang on. That's it. I just want a standard sound. Put the preamp back on. Cool. So yeah, you can hear that. It's amazing the difference one fret makes to the sound. You know, I mean, I do play one or two Guns N' Roses tracks on my live gigs, and I always do it in standard tuning, you know, because everything's the same. But if you play Sweet Child of Mine in E flat, you know, it's straight away. It's like, whoa, that's the record. You know, it sounds more authentic than. Don't know why. It's just it's the same pattern. You know, it's the same tune. You know, but that just sounds great. So there you go. So if you've just got a basic tuner app that you get with your phone or your tablet or something like that, you've got to trick the tuner into thinking that you're playing the open strings by pressing the first fret down, and then if you get the reading that you'd expect to get if you were playing the open strings by pressing the first fret, then by the time you've finished, all your strings will be in E flat, and you'll be able to jam along to Jimi Hendrix and pretty much the entire Guns N' Roses back catalogue, and a lot of other, you know, heavy kind of stuff, you know. So yeah, good luck with that. Give it a bash, and I'll hopefully see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.